Here's what I think. Here's what I think. I think a lot about this. Number one, I think that we cannot be so pure, so pure that we lose our minds. So, as I tweeted yesterday, and I will say to you, if by chance Elizabeth Warren won the Democratic nomination and was facing Donald Trump, to me, I can only tell you my analysis. That is not a lesser of two evils situation anywhere close to Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. I don't think we should make absolute, they have to be as fire breathing as us, the standard. I do think Elizabeth Warren would be a way, way better president than Donald Trump for our fight for economic equality. There is nobody, if you're looking at it objectively, there is nobody that could objectively say Donald Trump would be better economically for working people than somebody like Elizabeth Warren. You're entitled to disagree. But I'm not just gonna, I'm not gonna just tell you what you want to hear. My analysis is that Elizabeth Warren, despite not being the most progressive possible candidate, if she won the nomination, which I don't think she would, I would not. I personally would vote for her. So that's number one. I'm putting out my analysis as far as if she won the nomination. Okay? You don't have to agree. I think she's 100 times better than a Hillary Clinton in just about every way. There are problems with Elizabeth Warren, which I'm going to get to. Now, moving beyond that, I do not think Elizabeth Warren should be the Democratic nominee for president. I do not believe she would. I do not believe she would defeat Donald Trump. And I believe, both personally and professionally, that actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than wonderful commercials, talking about your family story and how hard you fought for the middle class. Actions speak louder than words. Elizabeth Warren's actions, to me, do not indicate a consistent, progressive warrior. She indicates somebody who has been very, very politically calculating. She indicates somebody who is economically fairly progressive, but has not fought in the biggest progressive battles of the 21st century, did not fight on the right side of those battles. I do not think Elizabeth Warren, based on her actions of the last few years, can be relied on the same as Bernie Sanders. If elected president, I do not trust that Elizabeth Warren will first fight aggressively for the positions she advocated in the campaign. I think she is more likely to play politics and cut deals with establishment Democrats than Bernie Sanders. And the reason is because essentially that's what she's already done. And part of why Bernie Sanders sparked a movement, which include the majority of you watching, part of why he sparked a movement is because Bernie Sanders never strayed from his ideals. He never tried to make backroom deals with the Hillary Clintons of the world. He'd rather fight and figuratively die on the battlefield for the ideas that he so passionately believes in than initially try to compromise. And frankly, if you don't know, Elizabeth Warren, as far back as 2014 and 2015, was cozying up to Hillary Clinton's campaign. For those who have said Bernie sold out by endorsing Hillary Clinton, I didn't agree with it, but I don't think you could be exclusively black or white. I don't think he should have endorsed Hillary Clinton. I think he should have basically said, I don't want Donald Trump to be president, and I'm going to do what I have to do, but I would not have stood up there and campaigned with her personally. But to say, Bernie Sanders sold out is frankly ridiculous. So, here's the thing. Elizabeth Warren, if you don't know, Elizabeth Warren, as far back as 2016, and there are other emails from WikiLeaks that show communications in 2015, Elizabeth Warren's staff was meeting with Hillary Clinton's staff. Don't you think that's a little odd for... This is an email that Hillary Clinton's staff sent to other members of Hillary Clinton's staff. So this is an internal Hillary Clinton email about conversations they had with Elizabeth Warren. As a follow-up to the HRC, Hillary Clinton's meeting with Warren, I spent about an hour and 20 minutes this afternoon with Dan Geldin, a longtime advisor to the senator. He was intently focused on personnel issues, laid out a detailed case against the Bob Rubin School of Democratic Policymakers, was very critical of the Obama administration's choices, and explained at length the opposition to Antonio Weiss. We then carefully went through a list of people they do like, which Elizabeth Warren sent over to Hillary Clinton earlier. We have already been in touch with a number of them, and I asked if he would be comfortable introducing me to the others, to which he seemed reasonably amenable. We spent less time on specific policies because he seemed less interested in that, although he did express some flexibility on Glass-Steagall, saying too big to fail is the bigger issue, and was open to our ideas on addressing through the tax code, assuming it actually works. I'm not going to read you the whole thing, but this shows that Elizabeth Warren in 2016, but there were also other emails showing her campaign basically doing backroom negotiations with Hillary Clinton's campaign because Hillary Clinton's campaign desperately wanted Elizabeth Warren's endorsement. Now, if you are a progressive, if you are economically progressive, if you are socially progressive, you wouldn't consider endorsing Hillary Clinton over Bernie Sanders. In fairness to Elizabeth Warren, that conversation happened, let me see. Oh, no, it didn't. That conversation happened, Bernie Sanders had already announced he was running. So, here you have Elizabeth Warren, who claims to be this progressive warrior, doing deals with Hillary Clinton. Here you have Elizabeth Warren, her advisor, saying she's not as focused on the reinstating Glass-Steagall. She's more focused on breaking up the big banks. Well, I agree with Elizabeth Warren on a lot of things, but if her advisor is saying she is not as focused on reinstating Glass-Steagall, then she doesn't understand, as well as she claims to understand, how the global financial crash happened in the first place. As economist Richard Wolff, who, if you missed that interview, we had Richard Wolff on the program Sunday. That interview is up in full on Status Quo's channel. Economist Richard Wolff, like many other economists, has said, the reason your 401ks went to shit, the reason your savings are depleted, the reason you might have gotten foreclosed on, the reason there was $750 billion bailouts that you paid for was because Glass-Steagall was repealed in 1999 by President Bill Clinton, a Democrat. So if Elizabeth Warren's advisor was saying, well, we don't really, we think the real issue is too big to fail, not necessarily reinstating Glass-Steagall, the issue is both. There's many other issues, but that is the main issue. When they merged commercial banks with investment banks, that allowed the casino gambling of your money, of pension funds, of savings accounts, of retirement accounts. That's what allowed it, by repealing Glass-Steagall under a Democratic president. So, right there is a problem. That her advisor was behind the scenes kind of making deals. This is how you're going to get our endorsement. If your campaign, speaking to Hillary Clinton's campaign, doesn't bring on A, B, C, and D Wall Streeter, which Hillary Clinton's campaign ended up doing. They did bring on all these people from Wall Street. And number two, the actions of Elizabeth Warren simply have not matched the rhetoric